Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and look at how volunteer coaches can become the true architects of a collaborative, supportive parent environment. Look, if you've spent any time around youth soccer, you know that the focus isn't just on watching kids grow and learn the sport. It's about making sure they actually enjoy themselves while doing it. But as literally any coach will tell you, what happens on the sidelines with the adults is just as critical as what's happening out there on the pitch.
It's kind of the ultimate challenge for any youth sports club, isn't it? We see it all the time. Parents and spectators getting super upset during games and practices, usually because they feel their child is being mistreated or treated unfairly. The passion is totally there, but, sometimes the execution is just way off. So the really crucial point here is figuring out how we proactively transform that sideline stress into shared success for our young athletes. How do we take a group of highly invested parents and align them so perfectly with our coaching goals that the sidelines actually become an asset rather than a liability? Well, the answer lies in upfront communication and establishing some rock-solid expectations.
To solve this, we're going to break this strategy down into a simple three-part playbook: the preseason foundation, in-season maintenance, and finally, the pressure valve.
All right, let's kick things off with Phase 1, the preseason foundation, where we focus heavily on setting expectations. There are 3 totally proactive steps you need to take to set boundaries early on. First up, hold a parent meeting before the first practice even happens. Gather everyone together to answer questions, discuss conduct, and clear up any confusing rules. Doing this just shows you're transparent and approachable right out of the gate. Second, use a parent contract. Literally have all the rules laid out in a booklet and make absolutely sure the parents read, understand, and sign off that they're going to abide by those regulations. That way, if a parent breaks the contract later, they already know the consequences. There are absolutely no surprises. And third, clearly redefine the parent's role right from the start. What I mean by that is we need to help parents shift their perspective away from being the director of every single play to acting more like a facilitator or a guide. Think about it. A lot of kids will just randomly pass or kick the ball away simply because an adult yells it from the sideline. But younger players, especially those in that 6 to 10 age range, they require a certain amount of uninterrupted, play-based learning. They need time to develop their own individual relationship with the ball. By explaining this to parents, you help them see the real developmental value of free-flowing, coach-guided play rather than rigid, adult-directed play. We're trying to create a rich environment for spontaneous learning, where kids can experiment, succeed, and yes, even fail, totally safely.
Okay, moving right along to Phase 2, in-season maintenance. This is all about those ongoing updates.
A short Friday email bridges the communication gap beautifully here. And honestly, it should only take you about 5 minutes to write. You just recap what you worked on and practice, remind them of game times and locations. But, and this is the absolute best part, you assign specific cheering guidelines. I mean, have you ever been frustrated when you spend literally all week working on dribbling in practice, but come game time, the parents are just screaming at the kids to boot it? Well, this email fixes that. You are actually bringing the parents in on the game plan. You tell them exactly what to look for. Like, hey, this weekend, please applaud every single dribbling attempt, even if they lose the ball, just to build their confidence. You're essentially giving them a job to do on the sideline, which keeps them focused on all the right things.
An absolutely vital part of this ongoing communication is establishing a warm but firm coaching style. Team chemistry thrives when we focus our praise on persistence and hard work over just pure talent. And why is that? Because it prevents a toxic star culture from taking root. You know the drill. When parents and coaches only praise the naturally gifted kid, the other players start feeling inferior. That damages team bonds and leads to social exclusion. Children in middle childhood are incredibly sensitive to fairness and justice, so when they see effort being rewarded consistently, it satisfies their need for a predictable, safe social environment. Bottom line, we have to coach the parents to praise the sweat, not just the score.
Of course, we live in the real world, and things still happen. That brings us to Phase 3, the pressure valve, where we manage conflict using some very concrete tools.
So the crucial point here is establishing the 24-hour rule as a definitive, non-negotiable boundary. If a parent feels something absolutely needs to be discussed that genuinely upsets them, they must wait 24 hours before contacting you. Guys, this is a total game changer. It allows emotions to die down, it stops that angry march across the field immediately after the final whistle dead in its tracks, it lets the dust settle for a much more productive, rational conversation the next day. It protects the coach, it protects the parent, and most importantly, it protects the athlete.
This 24-hour rule fits perfectly into a proper chronological escalation path. Step 1. The incident occurs on game day. Step 2, the mandatory 24-hour cooldown. But notice Step 3. This is so critical. Require the child to talk to you first. Youth sports is the perfect, safe environment for teaching children how to speak up for themselves. It teaches essential youth advocacy. And from your perspective as a coach, it really helps filter out that overprotectiveness. When you talk to the player directly, you get a quick feel for whether the problem is a serious concern for the athlete themselves or if it's actually just the parent projecting their own anxieties. Finally, Step 4. If it's still needed, you listen to the parent, but only at an appropriate pre-scheduled time.
Ultimately, all of this structure, the meetings, the emails, the rules, it isn't just a bunch of red tape. It serves a massive purpose. Managing the adults effectively allows our kids to simply enjoy the game on their terms. We want to foster healthy risk-taking. We want to partner with these young players and actually allow them to practice independent problem-solving out there on the field. Because if we're constantly directing them and arguing on the sidelines, we completely rob them of the chance to make strategic choices. The ultimate goal? We want them to have so much fun that when they go home, that soccer ball is still one of their absolute favorite toys.
So, to wrap up this explainer, I really want you to consider your role. You aren't just out there teaching drills, you are an architect of team culture. How are you going to use this playbook to shape the environment around your players? Will you implement the preseason meeting, those 5-minute Friday emails, and that crucial 24-hour rule? Because the truth is, what happens on the sidelines profoundly shapes who these young athletes become, both inside the game and out in the real world. So ask yourself, are your sidelines going to be a distraction or the ultimate catalyst for their growth? That's the blueprint you get to design.